NAFTA negotiators needed a shot of caffeine after a marathon sitting of intense talks.
Our negotiators have been really hard at it, including an all-night session last night of one team that just ended at 7 a.m. this morning.
But those round-the-clock discussions have yet to lead to a breakthrough. Sources tell CBC News talks remain steady but slow, and that Canada is not going to be rushed into a fast finish. If talks don't wrap up by the U.S.-imposed deadline of the end of the month, the Canadians expect to be on the receiving end of more intense, blunt, and brutal public criticism. Canada is already being pressured by influential Republicans to fall in line or risk being cut out of the deal.
Canada needs to really step up here this week. We're not going to change the deadlines, Republicans in the new trade rules.
The Prime Minister is dismissing that pressure, suggesting the U.S. needs to be ready to compromise.
We're going to need to see a certain amount of movement in order to get there, and that's certainly what we're hoping to see.
Canadian Labour leaders are amplifying that message, saying it's the Americans who need to play ball.
They're going to have to start to signal that they are going to move on these issues in a serious way. If not, there won't be a deal, and that would be unfortunate, but they're going to have to take the blame for that.
A more unlikely ally also came to Justin Trudeau's side today, the Conservative Premier of Ontario.
I just want to reconfirm again, province of Ontario is standing shoulder to shoulder with their federal government, and we're going to get this deal done, hopefully sooner than later.
Doug Ford stuck to the Team Canada script during his day trip to Washington for an update on the talks. While he didn't meet with any U.S. lawmakers, Ford also didn't give the Americans any reason to doubt Canada is anything but united on NAFTA. Lower-level technical negotiators are going to keep talking through the night, with those high-level talks between Minister Freeland and her American counterpart picking up tomorrow.
And Katie, what do we know about where these talks are stuck?
It's the big sore points that have really been a problem since these negotiations began 13 months ago. Sources tell CBC News that both Canada's dairy industry, which is a problem for the Americans, that was discussed today, as was Canada's demand to keep a dispute resolution system, an independent one, within NAFTA. A source tells me tonight that conversations today were full and frank. Now, if there is going to be some sort of breakthrough this week, it has to happen tomorrow. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister is expected to be in Montreal on Friday to host female foreign ministers, so she won't be able to stick around into the end of the week.
Katie Simpson in Washington again tonight. Thanks.
Thanks.
Well, Katie mentioned the renegotiations began just over a year ago, and since then, deadlines have repeatedly come and gone. Some even feel these dates on the calendar have become meaningless, but there is concern things may be different this time around.
Well, how many have we already passed? It was supposed to be done by December of 2017, then March, then June, now September, now. So who knows? I think this one has some validity to it.
Why? Well, because by September 30th, President Trump has to present the full and final agreement to Congress. And that deadline was set because the White House wants to ink a deal while Mexico's current president, Enrique Peña Nieto, is still in office before a new leftist successor starts December 1st.